Virgo, how you doing, guys? So we're here to do your March reading. So we will now look into the moment before and then we look into the moment after for your actual March predictions. So thanks very much, Virgo. Please give a like, share and comment. I really do appreciate it, guys. Also, Patreon now has gone down to $5. So I'm asking for people to pledge and help support the channel. But for that pledge, you also get, obviously, every extended reading that goes from here, goes straight to Patreon. And it's gone from $16 down to $5. I'm trying to give everybody a chance, hopefully, to watch their extended reading, but also in turn it enables me to keep up with the channel. So I really do appreciate all the people. That you can find that in the show more section. So at the beginning, please make sure that you keep in mind that this can go from the other person's perspective. A cross-watcher will always see it differently than what you do. And also don't forget about time. There's the fact that time changes things, and chimes, I'm hearing chimes, some kind of chiming or bells, or some kind of like bells ringing or something like that, or ringing in the ear or tinnitus. But don't forget that time changes your timeline. You know, time changes things and things changes time. So it depends on your actions and counter-reactions. But let's have a look. So show me what went on with Virgo. What's been going on with Virgo? So through the moment before, it really does help me cross-compare energy that starts to happen as a cycle, and then we compare the past with the future. Okay, and it really helps me through the rest of the reading. But let's see. So for Virgo, the moment before Virgo. So something happened extremely fast, and someone just, it felt like moved on, or moved out. A child could have moved out. This can get very personal readings also, because we go over life dynamics that will happen in your, obviously, life that happens more so than just love life. So there's a lot to do with someone just moved out. It feels like, well, they just moved in or they just moved out, but it's like, are you moving on or are you moving in? It's like there's a lot to do with someone's kids as well. Now, these can be what your children are going through if you have children, okay? So there's a lot of delivery, like delivery service. I'm also picking up like a delivery service where things that you do as a job are delivered to you and you do it as a service, but it's delivered and it comes in really quickly. Okay, there is also where people out there that their kids or you physically just have had a child, and there's a newborn person here. It could be a new person that you've just met within your love life, but it happened extremely quickly and it came in fast. And it was a lot to do with where they come and they visit, but they don't stay long. But there's a lot of trying to put someone to work or feeling put out, and as if to say, well, I need to put you to work. I need you to build this. It seems to be like a lot of, because I'm also hearing Bill. Okay, the name Bill, and that came up through Leo reading and also Libra reading, but a lot to do with like the bill. Okay, a lot to do with the bill. Also police service, something to do with the police. But the bill, like things are, so there's a speeding ticket as well, something to do with tickets. Tickets that you may have lost, or some kind of like ticket to a show, something to do with a ticket to a show. Okay, and I've lost my ticket or something. But this is trying to put someone to work. Okay, and it's like, well, there's a lot of work that needs putting in. So if you want to stay, you're going to have to contribute to the relationship, but you're also going to have to work at home. Your person might work at home, or you might, but there's a lot of like homework as well. There's a lot of homework, and I have to need to study. This could be the children that are going through that. You have to study, you have to study, you have to study, but there's a lot of homework. Someone's trying to get someone to like physically do things around the home, put someone to work. But this could be you as a boss that's saying, listen, yeah, I know, I've got clients and that I have to put them to work. There's some kind of like putting in the right amount of work for the relationship. Okay, well, there you go. So that's the marriage that's there. So these are a lot of things that are happening at home. The Four of Wands, you are also mirroring and been mirroring one another, or marrying one another. You have just started to marry one another, or feel like you want to marry one another, or live with one another. Okay, it's a lot to do with 5, so it's a lot to do with work as well. Okay, so it can be very stressful, and there can be a lot of arguments at home as these relate to a 5. Okay, but there's so much organisations and so much things that need organising around the home. It feels like it's a bit cluttered, but this is like needing to put someone to work. It's like, well, I need to be put to work, or I'm feeling put out. But why is someone feeling put out? Because this is renovating the home and stuff that it's like, well, we need to move. It feels like someone wants to move, and they go back to their family to say, yeah, I'm probably moving. Or are you moving in, or are you moving out, or what are you doing? That's a conversation someone's having in the family. is saying, well, what are you doing then? Are you living with them or living without them? It's like, well, I can't live with them and I can't live without them. There seems to be a lot of stuff around at the moment, but I love them and that's the relationship I'm in, so we're learning to compromise. But also, someone asks, or wanting to ask, or was asking about, well, wherever we're living at the moment, there seems to be like a lot of stuff for us to do. So how about we start to like pay for our own house or apartment or something, okay? But obviously you got like the twin flames, soulmate kind of situation, a lot of mirroring, a lot of lessons that would have been happening for you guys that will teach you more about family. You know, that's why I do life readings, because your soulmates are also your soul groups. Soul groups are your family dynamics that will help build you up to understand a lot about mirroring and triggering, that it's not just your soulmate that does, but that's also work and life of energy. Okay, so there's a lot of energy work, and there's a lot of like draining stuff. Like it seems to be drained. It's like I seem to be drained at the moment. It's like I want things to happen really fast, but I just feel so tired at the end of the day that I just need to come home and relax. You know. Too many. Should know what's been happening with that. I mean, some of it, this is like you are physically like renovating a home ready to move. It's like, well, I need to get the children prepared because we're actually having to get everything together because we are physically moving to this Four of Wands. So we're going to move apartments, or actually going to move to like a sunny, somewhere that's sunny from where it was cold. It feels like it is hot though. It's like blowing hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. But some of that is coming through where you're having to tell the children that you are packing stuff up and moving. Okay, yeah, moving from the 5 or to the 5. It's kind of like, well, wherever we go, we're cold. It feels like, well, at the moment we're hot and then we're cold, and then we're hot and then we're cold. It's like, what are we? It's like someone else also has a like common cold. It feels like common people. We are common people and we're learning to coexist. But a lot to do with the snowflake condition, where it seems to be happening again. All of a sudden, things start happening again, and you start to have that feeling. It's like, oh, I'm just having that feeling again. It's like it's coming over me. Something's coming over. Something's coming. It's like, do you want to come over again? It's like, do you want to come and stay again? Do you want to come over? Someone doesn't physically live with you, and they just come over. But this could be a friend or a child as well. Okay, you could be a mum, and it's kind of like, well, do you want to come over and stay here? I'm also hearing stay or Stacy or stay with me. That also came out for as a song through Leo. But stay, do you want to stay with me then? It's like kind of like, well, you can't stay at your family's and we can't stay at mine, so where do we want to go? It's kind of like, well, you can come and stay with me. There is definitely someone saying that you can come and stay with me. Or like, will you stay with me? Like, if we move, will you stay with me? It's kind of like, well, I don't, because we've got this Four of Wands and that's all like built up and it's good. So it's like, well, do you want to move then? And we move on our own. And it's kind of like, I think the answer was probably like not what someone wanted to hear. Okay. This is also coming through as a department. It's something like work can be very stressful for someone, and that you're picking up a lot of cold and flu symptoms from children. If you work for children or you work for the public, there seems to be a lot of people that come in and come and go, and it's like the common cold that's being passed around. It's something's being passed around. It's like passed to parcel or passing, like Parsons, the name Parson, or I've got no idea what I'm hearing, parsnip. Or the snip. Oh, okay, so this could be a vasectomy. Sorry if these are a bit strange messages, but it's just the way I channel Virgo. But some kind of like vasectomy, something like that. Okay. But there seems to be like a lot of people at home and a lot of things going on, but it's some of it is this common cold thing that seems to be going around. Oh, I hope it's not the coronavirus or violet. I'm hearing violet or violet. Violin. It's like violin. Vera Lynn. Vera Lynn. Or Lynn. The name Lynn or Lorraine. But rain. I'm hearing rain. Rainy day. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. Rainy days and Mondays always seem to get me down, but I can't live with my person. What? I can't live with someone. It feels like I can't live with someone, but I can't live without you either. It's kind of like, well, where do we want to go? Because it seems to be like a lot of stuff around the house. And what do we do then? It's like there seems to be some kind of like frantic behaviour of someone like coming up with some kind of like idea, and it's there and it's very quick and it's fast. It's like, well, how do I deliver that message then? Okay, and then it's like, well, I delivered the message, but all of a sudden it wasn't quite what someone wanted to hear. And it's like, well, what do you want to live with me? And it's like, well, I want to be with you, sure, but I'm not sure if we can live together yet and take on all the responsibilities of what it would cost to build up the rent and mortgage from the 5 and going to the 10. What would we do in order to save? So it feels like someone wants to save for the future of this 4 of Wands, meaning that one day we may get married, and one day that we may be together or be able to live together, but at the moment we're just having to coexist, and we're having to put each other to work and at the test. There seems to be some sort of test that you can't get over at the moment, Virgo, that you are triggering and mirroring one another, but there's a karmic lesson of where you physically reside at now that is still ongoing, that needs to be fulfilled as a contract, is what I'm sort of like picking up as well. It's also a lot to do with someone has like a bright idea, and they've had that feeling through what was going on through astrology, and it's kind of like, well, it's fast, and it's like, oh dear, now I feel cold. It's hot and cold. Show me Virgo. Show me Virgo. What's been going on with Virgo? So the king, you see, the king is there to say, okay, it's all right, don't worry, we are stable where we are, so why do we need to move? We have good money, we have good jobs, so why is it that someone feels pushed out and left out? There is a family member, some kind of like dynamic around family that's going on, where people are feeling shunned out or left out of situations to do with like rent, communication, bills, that kind of thing. But the king is there in order to say, you know what, I've got a very good stable job offer, and I have it here, and we have a home, so why do you need another one? It feels like someone wants to move, and it's like, well, why do you want to move? Because we have a good place where we're at, but I want to live with you on my own and not with family. But if you've got children, it's, I don't know why that's coming through. It feels like someone does everything for family, and it's like, well, I'll do it all for the family, like really fast, and it's like, well, why are you doing everything for the family? Where am I? Kind of feeling. But it feels like finances and money is there, and there's a good stability, like good stable place of where you're at. But someone feels like lonely in the relationship, or that can be a family member. But it's coming from 5. This feeling of like nostalgia and this feeling of feeling left out is coming from 5. So it's coming from work. You see, work is the Hierophant, work is the relationship, and work is also work with 5. Okay? So it seems to be where there's a lot of work to do. So we can't be together all the time. We obviously need to go to work. So it feels like living separate lives. Like we live separate lives. We live it. We're living in separate lives. Because this can be people that are living at home in a marriage, okay, and they're not actually, like, what do you call it? Like, they're coexisting in a relationship, but they're physically not with each other in a relationship. Because I'm picking up that this 4 of Wands is a lot to do with people that are, like, been married for, like, a long time, and they've got children, and they've been together for, like, a long time. But they're either one, not physically with each other, and this is an ex-partner that you know that you've got kids with, or it's a relationship where you live with them, but you're not physically sleeping with one another, or you're physically not, like, you're with them. It feels like people that have got kids, that's marriage, that are like been married for a long time, and they're with each other for a piece of paper, and they're with each other through thick and thin, but they're physically not like sleeping with one another. Like, it feels like separate lives, as in separate rooms. Like there are rooms around this house where people are like, well, there's room, and you can come and stay here. But then there are also people in the family that are living separate lives, like where we all live together and we live separate lives. I'm also hearing Livy. Because I just heard Chianti, my auntie, something to do with auntie, or I'm an auntie, or I'm becoming an auntie. This is someone's just give birth, and they're like, oh, I'm now an auntie. And it's like, oh, can we like just drop the kids off with you? It's like, yeah, sure, I'll have them. Or I'll have the baby. I'll have something to do with the baby as well. Like, well, did you give birth to the baby? And it's like, I can't get away from this feeling of like separate lives. Like we're living space, but we're living separate lives. Now that's either physically in a relationship, or there is some kind of like dynamic that goes on at home where people just feel like they're living in separate lives. Show me Virgo, what's been going on with Virgo? Pisces. So Pisces was definitely in Leo reading that I've just done, but I've done them differently. Something told me to do Libra first before Leo and Virgo, and then when I did that the other way round, it was obviously for a reason, but you got Pisces, so there's a lot of like, well, I'm just stuck. I just feel like I'm just like, I'm stuck with you. Like, I'm not stuck with you, but it's like I'm living with you and I'm here. So, but we stuck at work, like stuck at like just. Sorry, I'm really like trying to get my words out. It feels like someone's trying to get their words out. Like, well, what do I say then? What do I do? How do I tell you? But don't forget that this is the moment before, okay? The moment before. But the moment before, it's like, well, I'm lost for words. Like, I'm stuck for words of what to actually say, of why I feel this way. Because it's like, well, don't treat me this way and don't treat me that way. It's like, well, which way do I treat you then? Because I've got some money. It's like, well, sure, well, if you've got money, then why can't we move? It's like, well, don't treat me that way. You know, it feels like trick or treat a little bit. Like, well, it's not a trick and it's not a treat. It's just reality. It's the fact that we do have money and we have somewhere good that we're living. So why is it that you want to like start a complete fresh and move out and like live on your own? It feels like someone felt like they wanted to live alone or something, or leave me. Like, well, why is it that we want to live alone then? Why do we live alone? Or why can't we live alone without like kids or something? Like, why can't we live alone? Or why can't you leave me alone? I don't know why I'm hearing that one. Why can't you leave me alone? So the Knight of Pentacles still hasn't delivered something. It's still like, well, I still can't deliver it. Either way, I can't deliver it. It's some kind of like delivery service, or like someone that does a lot of delivering. It's like, well, the delivery got, someone tried to give birth and it wasn't delivered. It actually wasn't delivered. But there was a message that someone was thinking about, as if to say, well, there's an action plan there, but I'm not going to deliver what actual actions that I'm going to take yet. So it felt like, well, there was a lot of discussions about physical movement. Like, well, I'm just trying to get someone to motivate themselves at the moment. I'm just trying to find my motivation and my place in this company, or I'm trying to find my place. It feels like, well, I'm trying to find where my place is. Is that, well, where is your place then? Is your place with me or without me? There seems to be like a lot of action plans, but not a lot of action that was taken. But there was, you see. There seems to be like there was a lot of action there for a bit, but then it seems like, well, there's now not a lot of action. It's like, well, why is there no action? That could be something to do with like sex relationship, and that could be people that are living separate lives. It's like, well, you know, there was a lot of action, and then all of a sudden there was no action. It's like, well, I'm missing in action now, like I'm missing out in action. It's like, well, I think that this is just general family. That's it, like work and stuff. I mean, that's relationships, guys, you know. But there seems to be like, well, I'm just stuck at work a lot, and it's like, well, I'm missing in action then. Well, why? When can we go out? It's like, well, we can go out when I've got enough money. Well, you've got enough money. I know I do, but I'm at work. It's like, well, sorry, I'm really hearing some strange kind of, someone out there. It's very difficult to get someone to move. It's like, move. It's either physical movement, or if it's not, it's like a move. Like, I just can't be bothered to move at the moment. Like, I am just thinking of a plan of what to do, but I'm really not acting upon it yet. I'm just waiting for something to happen. I'm waiting for an idea to physically form so I can start something up again. Okay, but that's a very strange moment before for you guys. It really is. Like, I went really, really deep into the Leo reading, but this just seems to be like a, you know, that living separate lives. They keep saying living separate lives, where you're together but you're not, kind of feeling. So let's see. So we just start to quickly look into your March reading and then try to compare the past with the future. So let's see. So for Virgo, show me for Virgo, Sun, Rising and Venus. So see Libra. I said Libra was definitely, there was a reason why. I'll probably put them out of not order and like, don't worry. But you can watch them and you'll see that I said I'd just done the Libra reading and the Leo reading and they're before one another. But it seems to be now there's a decision that really someone needs to make. You know, I'm stuck between work, Libra, working for a Libra. I also work for myself, but I am kind of like now torn between lovers. I'm torn between what do I do? You know, it's someone like, well, trying to persuade someone to change their mind. But there is children also that are like talking about, well, what do we do then? What do we do? Because there can be people that have gone back to families to talk, which can be you, that I've gone back to my family to ask them, what am I going to do about this situation? So, well, you get what you want. It just feels like someone can be very indecisive at the moment of trying to get someone's attention, meaning like, well, I want your attention, and I'm going to do it either way I can in order to get it. So if I don't, I'm going to move away from you. It feels like, well, I'm just going to move on then. If you can't actually make a decision, I'm just going to get on with my life and wait for you to make a decision. It doesn't mean a breakup. It just means, well, if you can't, while you're in that Two of Swords energy, and you can't make a decision, I'll make it for you and I'll start to move on. Okay, but there can be physical movement, you see, that there was a decision that was all looming around here and it started to happen, okay, and someone physically did either move out. For some of you, it would have been that someone moved out, but it can physically be that someone started to move in and you was trying to put them to work and then say, okay, so what are you going to do then? You know, what are you going to do in order to contribute towards the relationship and also towards the family? Okay, and now you seem to come up against this like, well, okay, so we're here, so we have to make this decision about where it is that we physically want to live together. If there are someone that is thinking that about giving this message to someone to say, you know, well, what are we going to do then? Are we going to like move out? Because it feels like someone, fire sign, wants the attention given to them from this too. Okay, you got 2 and 2 again. Definite Libra involved. Okay, definite Libra. Libra had all of the 2s that came out through their reading, all of them. Okay, and you go from a 6 back to a 2 again, which is an 8, which is kind of like, well, you know, which way do we go then? Because someone waits to see their person to give them some kind of attention at home. Okay, you got 4 and 2, which is 6 again there. With possible Pisces of 3, it was 12. It's really not telling me a lot. It's just someone's like backwards, forwards, yes, no, well, what do we do then? Like someone's asking somebody, but they're constantly at a crossroads between, well, where do I go? Something rising on Venus, please, Spirit. Sagittarius. Sagittarius is right below this 5. There's someone in this energy that is causing confusion between this home life dynamic where there's a blend. It seems to be, well, I'm just blending in. It's like, well, I'm just constantly trying to get you to make a decision, but I just feel like I'm just blending in. It's like, this could be coming from a family member, like a mother as well, someone. And it's like, well, I just feel like I'm just blending in. It's like, well, how are you blending in? It's like, we need to make some decisions about where we want to go. It's like, yeah, but at the moment, we're just trying to, like, do the Mrs. Jones kind of like, well, we have to fit in with society, and we have to fit into everybody else's belief, and we have to fit into making people, like, there's some kind of like trying to make someone believe about money or believe in themselves, or that they don't believe in themselves, and they're like, well, I don't believe in myself, but I believe in these. Oh, I've got no idea where that's coming from. It's like, well, I've got very little energy levels left in order to believe in anything, but I believe in these, which is still, I've got no idea. Sorry, Libra cross watchers, but I get so confused with it. I get so confused because that's kind of like a 2 as well, right? And it's like, well, you know, on one hand, I've got places that I want to be and that I want to go, but then when I go there, I'm still at a 2 and 8 and thinking, well, where the hell do I want to go? And it's like, well, do I want to move? Do I want to stay? Where exactly is it that we should? Well, sorry. I'm starting to get angry. So will someone make up their mind? It's like, you're probably trying to get someone to make up their mind, but they are really concerned about children. But again, the Page of Wands isn't delivering a message, it's just thinking about it. It's like, well, I'm just going to think then. It's like, well, what are you thinking about? It's like, well, someone does a lot of thinking, Virgo, to the point where it is actually wearing me out doing this reading. Sorry, but it's like, well, I'm going to sit here and think about where it is that we can physically go. So what do you want to do? It's like, well, I don't know. It's like, well, what do you mean you don't know? It's like, well, I'm going to think about it, but not actually say it. It's like, will you say something? Sorry. Oh, I don't know where this reading's coming from. See, will you say something? Below the Hangman is the Ace of Swords. So it's a lot about moving. And it's a lot about, well, are you going to tell me the truth? So the truth starts to come in. There's like a truth serum. It's like, well, I need to engage on your energy first before I actually say something. So I need to approach you cautiously, think about it, and then what I really want to do is just tell you about this Ace of Swords. And I want the truth. It's like, well, are you prepared to listen to the truth? It's like, well, I don't know whether it's the truth or not. Someone is very, I'm getting such a confused energy. Or in my head, it's like, really depends on what those 2s are. But I just can't seem to continue on with your reading at the moment. It's like, well, I don't know where to go, what to do, what to say. It's like, well, I'm just thinking, because the pages always just think messages, but they don't deliver them. But again, the Ace of Swords is like, well, you have an option to speak and you have a choice to speak. It's like, yeah, but I feel like I can't speak. You know, and that came up through the Leo reading. There was one of the songs like, don't speak. Right? It's like, well, don't speak then. It's like, well, are you going to speak or not going to speak? It's like, well, who's speaking? It's like, well, I'm seeking, like, a lot. There seems to be someone that seems to be seeking quite a lot, like needing some kind of like attention or something. It's like, well, I'm just going to walk off then. If you're not going to give me the attention, I'm just going to walk off and not say anything. So it feels like someone needs to speak up and say something about it. But there can be a lot of avoiding actually revealing the truth to people about what's really going on, because there seems to be quite a lot going on, you know. In someone's life there is. But the Ace of Swords is kind of like, well, you have an option to speak or you have an option to say. It's like, well, what do you want to do then? It's like, well, 1 minute I want to do this, and then the next minute I want to do that, but the next minute I don't actually want to do anything. This is someone that's got like a cold, or I don't know, is blowing hot and cold, and it's like, well, I can't engage in your energy then because you can't make up your mind. I always get confused when those twos start showing up. But you've definitely got like a Libra energy that can confuse somebody out there. Or Libra's getting confused, I've got no idea, but somebody is. Because there's like blowing a lot of hot and cold. But like I said, these pages here, these can be things that are going on with your children that you're witnessing. You know, as a parent, you would be witnessing that this is what's going on with your kids. That they come back for advice and ask a lot of stuff, and you're saying, well, what do you want to do then, and where do you want to go? And they say, well, I don't know yet. You know, we're having to live here. We're having to live here with one another, but there seems to be a lot of attention that's given to someone else other than me. This is why I get, because I'm picking up on like other family members that have got like Virgo in their chart, okay? And it's like, well, what do we do then? Because, you know, you're asking me for my advice about what you should do, and what you should really do is ask them and not me. You know, that's where that's coming from. Someone's asking someone a lot of the questions, but they're not engaging in their own karma by doing it themselves. And someone feels pushed out by one person not physically saying something that wants to say it or wants to do something, and they get to that pinnacle point of actually doing it, but it feels like that they don't. And it feels like, well, 1 minute they do, and then the next minute you don't. And then it's like, well, what do I do? So whilst you're waiting, I'm going to go back to seek guidance from someone else. And then I'm going to ask them, but I don't know whether I believe them or not, because it seems to be like that they confuse me as well. And that I go and ask them, I get confused there, and then I come back, think about something that I need to say, but I don't physically say it, and get stuck in this pattern of 5, because it feels like, well, I don't know where to go then, and I don't know where to ask. I feel alone, but it feels like someone's not confronting their demons, which is your karma, which is that you're going to experience it, because you'll never run from personal growth. You'll just run into another circumstance that'll happen again. You start to get triggered, not understand why, and it happens again, and that's why, because it's the terrible twos of why. Why me? Why, like we do. Have you ever asked a question of like why, and wrote it down on a piece of paper and thought, well, what's going on with me? Okay, so here I am, what's going on? Why? Do that. Write down on a piece of paper and ask yourself, why do people feel that way? Me, individually as a person, Virgo. Why do I feel that way? Okay, and project it out onto a piece of paper, right? See what you come up with. But there's a lot of like, well, let's just throw caution to the wind, put it up in the air and see what we come up with. And it's like, let's just put everything into a blender and then just see what we come up with. And we come up with 2 and 2, and it makes 6. 2 and 2 makes 6. It's like, no, it doesn't. It makes 4. It makes a family. Oh, does it? Oh, so 2 and 2 makes 6, but we're all living together. 2 and 2 make 4, and there's 4. So there is a lot of attention that's needed by people at home that is in this energy. That's what I'm saying. And there is someone that confuses someone that much, where they're like, oh, listen, my head is backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, and I've got no idea what to do. And I think about them, but I don't speak to them. But what I am wanting to know is what the truth is. And it's like, well, I don't know what the truth is. What are you asking me? Sorry, I'm getting very confused, Virgo. What on earth is this that I'm like picking up? Because to a lot of people, these would just seem like normal cards. To me, I channel through them. So that's the energy that's felt, you know? And the conversations that someone seems to have with themselves. It's like, well, I'm having it with myself, and I'm having this conversation with myself, and I want to go forward, and I want to go forward. And it's like, hold on, put on the brakes. It's like, right now, time to think again. It's like, oh, what are you thinking about? It's like, oh, hold on a minute, hold on, I just need to think. It's like, what are you thinking about now? Well, I'm thinking about this Ace of Swords. And sorry, Virgo, but that's where we go on to Patron. hopefully people want to join Patreon. It really does support me out with that, with your pledge. With your pledge of $5, you get access to your full extended readings where we go through the rest of March and then other stuff that I do throughout that month. Okay, things will pick up more, but I just need more incentive because I just can't physically afford to keep doing things for free. So I have to try and give more people, hopefully, that will join Patreon, that will kind of like work out where everybody can see different readings. Okay, so you can find that in the show more section. Also, a personal reading, if you would like one, you can reach out, find the email below. Just reach out. Everything for every channel that I run that you can also join is in the show more section, guys. So we're going to go over the rest of your reading and then go into each individual card, probably not all of them, but each card tells me what's going on with a person, okay? So we'll look into that as well, but see what comes out for the other side, okay? So I'll hopefully see you over on Patreon, guys. Thanks very much for a like, share, comment. Really do appreciate it, Virgo, and I'll catch you again soon.